Beautiful people, episode 87 of the best sports show out, Highly Opinionated, is on your screen. I'm your co-host, Josh. Ladies and gentlemen, my guy, the host of the Club JG podcast, co-host here on Highly Opinionated, the man, the myth, the legend. What's up, JG? How you doing, my brother?
Josh and Ross, what's going on, my boys? How we doing?
Living the dream, brother. We living the dream. Everything good with you?
Yeah, man. Sure, man. Can't complain. Another week.
Yeah, another ghetto week in America. How about it, right? How about it? How about it? Ladies and gentlemen, the most important man on this show, you see him at the bottom of the screen, the editor, the producer, the guy that makes us look good with no makeup. Ladies and gentlemen, hopefully I can get this brother a job at some point in time. He can make as much money as he needs to make. Ladies and gentlemen, the great Ross. How you doing, sir?
Good. How you feeling, Josh?
Good, man. I can't complain. Everything good with you?
Yeah, no, same here. We finally got a series, it seems like, probably in the NBA, so definitely ready to get to it and hear your stance on it, because I was ready to, I'm ready for that.
Yeah, I thought I was going to have to run and hide at the game, too. But I'm here, though. I'm here, y'all. I'm here. You feel me? I thought I was going to have to run and hide, but I'm here. So hopefully we can get an amazing NBA Finals. And watch out for the Stanley Cup. Stanley Cup been looking good so far. We'll touch on that momentarily in the show as well. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you guys for watching episode 86. Last week's show was just me and my great co-host, JG, on there. Gave you guys some great knowledge, gave you guys some great wisdom. Hopefully you could use that in debates and spars and shouting matches, whatever you call them. We try to make Highly Opinionated appointment guide viewing for you guys. You guys make Highly Opinionated what it is. Without you guys, Highly Opinionated wouldn't be nothing. So forever grateful, forever thankful. Ross, let them know where they can follow us on our social medias.
Yes, sir. Y'all can follow us on Instagram at Highly Opinionated __. Follow us on TikTok at Highly Opinionated _SS. Follow us on Twitter or X at Highly O_SS. And of course, you're already on YouTube, so make sure you like, subscribe, and leave a comment.
Absolutely. As I said before, comments, likes, subscribing, subscriptions, everything means the world to us. Again, Highly Opinionated is a show about the people, for the people. That's what we try to do. We try to educate, inform, make you laugh a little bit on the way. So we appreciate you guys' support. All love from us here, Highly Opinionated to y'all. Again, you guys make us what we are. JG, ready to get episode 87 started, my brother?
I am. Let's do it.
Let's get it. Let's get to work. And let's start off sports news. Russell Wilson has called it a career. Russell Wilson has retired from the NFL. Russell Wilson has announced he will be joining CBS Sports. He will be on CBS's NFL Today pregame, halftime, and postgame show. That show consists of James Brown, Nate Burleson, Russell Wilson, and the other guy. I'm trying to think who the other guy. I think the other guy is Kyle Long, offensive lineman, former offensive lineman with the Bears. So those will be your NFL Today on CBS. That would be the pregame show. JG, Russell Wilson, Super Bowl champion, 2-time NFC champion, 10-time Pro Bowler, 2020 Walter Payton Man of the Year award. He threw for 46,966 passing yards, 16th all time. So that's tip our cap or point out cap to Russell Wilson on a hell of a career. But the simple question, JG, you can obviously speak on Russell Wilson's retirement. Is Russell Wilson a Hall of Famer?
I believe Russell Wilson is a Hall of Famer. I'm not sure about first ballot, but I do believe he does belong in the Hall of Fame. Really just defied, a lot like Drew Brees, defied, the odds of being, the quote shorter quarterback, not being able to see over the offensive line. Can he be accurate? Mobile quarterback, in the times where, hey, can you win playoff games? Can you win a championship playing that way? So you had that along with Russell Wilson being a short quarterback. He took the Seahawks to 2 championship games, 2 Super Bowls. Had a chance to win 2, if not for that infamous, not giving the ball to Marshawn Lynch on the 1-yard line. But nonetheless, he does have a championship. He brought the Seattle Seahawks, to glory, a place where the greats like Sean Alexander and greats before that couldn't get to. So, obviously not the most ceremonious ending to a career, leaving Seattle before eventually going to Denver, and Denver ended up being a disaster before he went to Pittsburgh. And, he decided to not take that backup job with the Jets, to back up, ironically, Geno Smith, which I kind of understand. But Russell Wilson had a tremendous career. Again, changed the game for quarterbacks of his size. He's an example that, that can be done. You can win that way. You can win a championship that way. So Russell Wilson definitely deserves a boatload of credit. I think he is a Hall of Famer. I'm just not sure about first ballot.
I agree with that message 1,000%. I couldn't say it any better. Russell Wilson's a Hall of Famer. Russell Wilson is a 1 yard, is a goal line pass away of beating Peyton Manning and Tom Brady in the Super Bowl. You think they was gonna keep that brother out the Hall of Fame? Hell no. F no. Fuck no. Stop. Russell Wilson has shown he can play. Now he left Seattle. Like all of us at times, we start to smell ourselves a little bit. Ooh, look at that. Ooh, look at that. You feel me? You think you're the one with the deodorant. You think you're the man that created the deodorant. Nah, there's the deodorant, Old Spice, etc. Those guys created the deodorant, not you. So I think Russell Wilson, quote unquote, got high on his own supply. He thought it was him. He thought it was mainly him as a quarterback. And that's what a lot of people think when they see quarterbacks win, because we look at most people in the media, not saying we, but most people in the media look at wins as a quarterback stat. I don't look at wins as a quarterback stat. You could have a quarterback can have the worst team and still win a game. I'm sorry. A team can have the worst quarterback and still win a game. That's not a quarterback win. We won the game because of special teams, defense, running the ball, head coach, coaching, etc. Russell Wilson don't like how his career flatlined once he left Seattle. But his years in Seattle, he's a Hall of Fame. Won two NFC championship games. Like I said, won a Super Bowl, lost a Super Bowl on a 1 yard bad pass by him. Destroyed Peyton Manning in the Super Bowl 43-8. Has beaten Tom Brady and all the great quarterbacks Russell Wilson has beat at some point in time in his career. Aaron Rodgers, you name him, Tom, Peyton, etc. Patrick Mahomes, you name it, he's done it. So I think Russell Wilson is a Hall of Famer. And I think the person that we can compare him the most to, because of how Russell Wilson's story ended and how Eli Manning's career was, I think they're the most comparable quarterback. So if Eli Manning's getting in, then Russell Wilson should get in. Because I think Russell Wilson's better than Eli Manning. So I think Russell Wilson's a Hall of Famer. Congratulations to Russell Wilson on taking that CBS deal. As we said a couple weeks ago about Mike Tomlin joining NBC. The good thing about that job, you're 0-0. You don't win nothing, but you damn sure don't lose nothing. You win some money from NBC and CBS or whatever station you go to, but you will never have a 0 in that loss column. That is an amazing feeling. Obviously, I said that Mike Tomlin will never come back. I obviously don't think Russell Wilson will come back. So, tip of the cap to Russell Wilson. Hell of a career. Look forward to seeing you on Sundays at 12 o'clock on CBS for the NFL Today. JG, our next topic. Before I move on to the next topic, anything you want to say about Russell? You good?
No. I think again, Russell Wilson just an incredible career. Especially he should be up in the Hall of Fame for the Seattle Seahawks, in my opinion, along with the Hall of Fame eventually. But
absolutely,
the way that the game is today, you never know. Like quarterbacks get hurt. I never really rule out certain guys from coming back off of TV. I mean, hell, I was right about Tom Brady coming back, so I never really shut the door on a lot of guys just yet. We'll see how the year goes.
Absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, our next topic, we can't make this a segment on the show, so we will definitely touch it at the beginning of the show. The Stanley Cup Finals. Ladies and gentlemen, the Stanley Cup Finals. The Las Vegas Golden Knights are currently up 2-1 on the Carolina Hurricanes. Game 4 is Tuesday night at 8 o'clock on ABC. Game 4 will be in Las Vegas. Game 5 will return to Carolina. For Game 5 will be Thursday night, June the 11th, 2026, at 8 o'clock on ABC. As I mentioned last week, all the Stanley Cup Finals games will start at 8, and they will be on ABC. JG, you are a rapid Las Vegas Golden Knights fan. Your team's up 2-1. How you feel? Confident? Shaky? Or you're like, oh, I don't like where we stand. How you think the Golden Knights have looked so far in the Stanley Cup Finals?
The better team. They just have been unable to close the deal. It was unacceptable and unfathomable that they're up 4-0 and with less than 10 minutes left in the third period, and you managed to give up that lead and go not only that, but then go to overtime. And again, you probably should have lost.
2 overtimes. That went to 2 overtimes.
Double overtime. And again, you probably should have lost. But to me, like I look at the totality of the game, like the Golden Knights are a better team than Carolina. They're a better offense right now. Carolina's been known for their defense, but Vegas has shattered their defense in this series. They haven't really been able to stop them. The Golden Knights are stopping themselves by not closing the deal. Like they've done everything. Mitch Marner's playing amazing. Brady McNabb, who took a puck to the face, came back strong and is still out there. Shea Theodore, obviously, with the game winner in double overtime. Mark Stone holding steady. They just have to close the deal. Keep playing the way that you were playing the entire game. And honestly, I think you dominate this Carolina team. They don't really have an answer for your offense. They haven't shown me anyway. So you put a stranglehold on this series. I believe they will. They will put a stranglehold on the series tonight and go up 3-1. I expect Carolina to fight back in Game 5 back in Carolina. Maybe make this at least a 6-game series. But I got the Golden Knights. I originally said the Golden Knights in 7. I'm not one to change my pick, so let me not do that. I'm going to stick with Golden Knights in 7. But I also feel good I also am starting to feel better about saying Golden Knights in 6. But it's really all the Golden Knights is not closing the deal, in my opinion. It's not that they're not the better team.
No, the Golden Knights have shown they are the better team. Before the series, I picked Carolina because of their defense. And if you look at Vegas has had 5 goals in every game. So it's not like the defense of Carolina is stifling like they were in the Eastern Conference playoffs. So for me, I'm going to still ride with Carolina. I still think Carolina has the most important games on their home ice, Game 5 and Game 7. I think Carolina wins Game 4 Tuesday night. And I think we go back to Carolina 2-2. And that's 2 out of 3. Got to win 2 out of 3 to win Lord Stanley Cup. Best trophy in the game, you feel me, in my opinion. So this has been an amazing Stanley Cup Finals. I've watched bits and pieces of every game. Game 3? I watched all of Game 3. So a little bit of pieces of Game 1, a little bit of pieces of Game 2. So if I'm a hockey casual. I'm not going to make it seem like I'm a hockey aficionado. I'm not going to lie to y'all. Never have, never will. But Stanley Cup and the Stanley Cup playoffs, and especially the Stanley Cup Finals, if you don't watch hockey, you're missing out on that, man. It's an amazing treat. You get to watch guys. They know what's on the line. They understand what's on the line. Pucks being hit in the face, sticks being hit on people, guys falling to the ice, not helping guys up. Stuff is what we want in the NBA. It's competitive fight for the biggest and best trophy in sports. So you still riding with the Vegas. You still riding with Vegas Knights in 7. I am taking Carolina. I didn't pick a game, but I'll take Carolina in 7. I think the home ice gets Carolina over the top. I will say this. Going into the series, I thought Carolina's defense would be better. If they want to win 4, 5, 6, and 7, not saying they're going to win all 4, but they want to win those games and win the Stanley Cup, they got to improve that defense. Vegas has a free shot to the goal. Free shot. Every time they hit it, every time they hit the puck, I think it's going to be a goal every time. So I need Carolina to show up that defense. If they show it up, I think they will going back home. Should be good for Carolina. Should be a great Stanley Cup Finals. Again, Game 4, Tuesday night, 8 o'clock on ABC. JG, we got some sad news as we end this segment. Ladies and gentlemen, the great Stacey King, former player of the Chicago Bulls. He passed away. He passed away at the age of, age right here, 59. Stacey King, former member of Chicago Bulls. He played for the Dallas Mavericks. Your thoughts on Stacey King?
Yeah, won 3 championships with Michael Jordan's Bulls in the 90s. Was a superstar from Oklahoma coming out of college. I think in his final year he averaged like 25 and like 12, I think. So the guy was an All-American superstar at Oklahoma. This didn't quite pan out in the NBA, like it did in college for him, but he still was a viable bench piece for those 3 championships with the Bulls. It ended up being like he won an Emmy, as a sports analyst for the Chicago Bulls. And just one of those guys where it's like if you're a Chicago native and you follow the Bulls and you listen to the radio, when the Stacey King's calling it. He has every news analyst or sports analyst has a little catchphrase. His was drive home safely to Chicago. So like after every game, that's what he would say to everyone. So I didn't know a ton about Stacey King until I learned from like the likes of Michael Wilbon, and other people that really spoke about him. Michael Wilbon's a huge Chicago guy, so he can speak on it better than any of us. But just what I hear, Stacey King is just an awesome teammate, awesome person, very easy to talk to, and just a guy that will take you under his wing. And when you hear stuff like that about somebody who doesn't really have to do that, you just give so much respect to that person. And Chicago is going to miss him. The Bulls radio is definitely going to miss him for sure. And from all the things that I've heard, he's just a tremendous man. And it's a sad loss today, and I'm just going to be praying for his family. Absolutely,
prayers to the King family. JG, you hit the nail hit the nail on the head. He has been the Chicago Bulls lead television color commentator since 2006-2007 season. So this upcoming season would have been his 20th season as the color commentator for the Chicago Bulls. Of course, most people know him. He played with the Bulls 89 and 94, won 3 championships, 91, 92, 93. 94 and 95, he played Minnesota. 95, 96, he played Miami. 97, he played for 2 teams, the Boston Celtics and the Dallas Mavericks. When we look at teams, we always look at the stars, the best players. So the Michael Jordans, the Kobe Bryants, the Tom Brady's, the Tim Duncans, the etc. These guys don't win championships without the ancillary pieces coming along. Stacey King was an ancillary piece that came along for the Chicago Bulls, along with Phil Jackson being the head coach, the development of Scottie Pippen, the development of the rest of the team, including Stacey King. Stacey King wasn't going to average 15 and 20 points in the NBA. Your averages does not equate your value. Let me repeat that again. What you average in a game does not equate your value. You are more valuable than what you have. There's a guy that probably averaged 30 in the NBA. He's probably more valuable. Luka averaged 33. He's more valuable than that. You get what I'm saying? So you are not your averages. Stacey King, salute. As you said, the guys on TV, Michael Wilbon, Stephen A. Smith, just to name a few, spoke heavily and spoke glowingly about Stacey King. So from all of us here at Highly Opinionated, rest in peace to Stacey King. We send our condolences to the King family and the Chicago Bulls family. JG, another sadly death we're going to speak on. This happened actually a couple weeks ago. Ladies and gentlemen, one of the best wide receivers that most people don't know because they're too young to know who he is. His name is Raymond Berry. Raymond Berry died at the age of 93. Raymond Berry led the NFL in receptions 3 consecutive seasons, 1958, 1959, 1960. He won back-to-back NFL championships at the time, 1958, 1959. He was a member of the NFL All-Decade team in the 1950s. He was selected as a member of the NFL 75th team that came out in 1994. And he was a member of the NFL 100 all-time team list that came out about 3 to 4 years ago. He also, give you a tidbit about him on this. He stopped playing and went into coaching. Do you know that he was the New England Patriots coach in 1985 when they lost to the Chicago Bears in the Super Bowl? The greatest defense listen, I'm not biased, people. In my opinion, the greatest defense that has ever played, the 85 Chicago Bears. He was the head coach of the New England Patriots. He took New England to their first ever Super Bowl. So rest in peace to Raymond Berry, true legend. Yeah, we know about Randy Moss. We know about T.O. We know about Calvin Johnson and Marvin Harrison and Don Meredith and all those guys. Without Raymond Berry, those guys do not exist. Salute to Raymond Berry. Salute to his family. Rest in peace to Raymond Berry. Rest in peace to the Berry family.
A wide receiver that was, really like just invented the art of route running, like route technician. We throw that term around. That was Raymond Berry, way back when. 13-year career that included 631 catches, 9,275 yards, and 68 touchdowns in his 54 regular season games. As you said, Josh, named to the all-decades team of the 50s, the AFL, and the NFL, 1960 through 84 All-Star team. Member of the Baltimore Colts with old Johnny Unitas. You remember those teams way back when they were the Baltimore Colts at the time in the AFL before the Colts ultimately left. Before we had the Browns, and then the Browns came back to Baltimore. The whole story there, but yeah, Raymond Berry, just one of those guys that if you are a football historian, if you are looking up to the greats, not just recent history, but go back to those times with Raymond Berry. When you talk about wide receivers, route running is just as important as being able to catch a deep ball. Being a route technician is a skill. Not every football player has that. So again, another legend gone. Beautiful life, wonderful life. Beautiful career. In the NFL world is definitely going to miss him for sure.
Absolutely, brother. Couldn't say it any better. Raymond Berry lived to be 93. That's a fruitful life, bro. We know some people, they don't even live to be 24, 25. This man lived to be 93 playing a physical sport. And back then, it wasn't the health care, I won't say health insurance, but the health care isn't what it is today. So, a lot of times, like, you had a problem, he probably took care of himself. You feel me? He probably put a cast on his arm, not a doctor. So or wrap himself up or whatever he had to do to be the best football player he could be. So rest in peace to Raymond Burr. Salute to him. Salute to his family. And ladies and gentlemen, especially the young folks that watch this show, Google's your friend, bro. Go do your research. Like, yeah, I get it. You see who you see, that's fine. We can't forget about players. I'm talking about all sports. We can't forget about players who we not seen. That does not mean that they're not good. That just means you haven't seen them. You have YouTube. You have a phone. Use it to your advantage. Go Google. Go look at Raymond Burr, one of the best wide receivers of all time. Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Highly Opinionated. We will be right back. Ladies and gentlemen, this episode of Highly Opinionated is brought to you by WRIC. Enjoy the heightened experience of THC edibles in a whole new way. At WRIC, our freeze-dry edibles available in 100 milligram, 200 milligram, 300 milligram, 400 milligram will give you the buzz you crave with a flavor you won't forget. Available in 3 different flavors: watermelon sunset, tropical fruit, and very berry. To place orders, please visit the website at WRIC.com. While you're there at WRIC.com, use a promotion code. You guys see the promotion code on the screen. $ Highly $. Again, $ Highly $. For 20% off your first purchase. Follow us on IG at WRIC for new product releases and monthly hookups. Must be 21 and over to purchase. WRIC, the best freeze-dry edibles out. Go shop. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Highly Opinionated. It's that time, JG and the rest of America, the best segment in sports. This week's edition of Let's Talk About It, Brendan Sorsby. A judge granted Brendan Sorsby an injunction so he can play at Texas Tech this season. That injunction was served on Monday. So Brendan Sorsby betted on college sports while he was at Indiana. He was a quarterback at Indiana. He wagered approximately $90,000 on professional and college sports over 4 years, including 40 bets involving Indiana Hoosiers football when he was a freshman at Indiana in 2022. The NCAA, Texas Tech the NCAA denied Texas Tech appeal for reinstatement on Friday. So Texas Tech went to a judge in Texas, and the judge basically granted Sorsby the injunction so he can play. Now, Brendan Sorsby will miss the first 2 games at Texas Tech this season. He will be eligible to play the 3rd game. Texas Tech, first game is against Abilene Christian. I think they'll be fine. Texas Tech second game, I want to make sure I get these games right, brother. I don't want to lead y'all wrong now. Let me go. Texas Tech football schedule. They played Oregon State, the second game of the season. The same Oregon State last season, they won 2 games. Their 3rd game, bro, Texas Tech will be 2-0 when they get to Houston, when they play Houston. They play Houston September the 8th. September the 18th, that will be a Friday night on Fox. That will be Fox Friday night kickoff. That will be a big game. Brendan Sorsby will be allowed to play that. Usually I allow you to go first. However, if you don't mind, bro, I'd like to go first on this topic. What has happened to the NCAA that I knew and grew in love? I'm old enough to remember USC took Reggie Bush's Heisman Trophy away. He had to disassociate with the school. Let's go back to the 90s. It was this basketball team. They had bald heads. They wore long shorts. They wore black socks. The Michigan Wolverines. Michigan's best player was a fellow by the name of Chris Webber. Chris Webber had to disassociate himself because of something that went along with Ed Martin. You know about that scandal where Ed Martin allegedly gave Chris Webber money. He said they didn't get him, whatever. It was another example. Oh my God, I can't think of the other example. I just gave you 2 examples. I know that another one will come of players who has made the school better. Reggie Bush made USC profitable. I get they had Matt Lyons, they had Lindell White. Reggie Bush was a star at USC. I don't know what has happened to the NCAA. We're allowing people to play a sport, and I know it's not the NCAA, it's the judge in Texas. We're allowing people to play a sport where you betted on the sport. I don't give a damn if you betted at Indiana. Listen, me and you gamble. We don't play. I'm not on the NFL team. I don't work for an NFL team. You don't work for an NFL team. You don't play for an NFL team. You don't play in the NBA. You don't work for an NBA player. Even though, bro, I think some of these stiffs in the NBA, you come on, man. You know damn well you should be in the NBA. Some of these stiffs that's out here getting paid and robbing people for money. We ain't even gonna start on that. However, my point is that what has happened to college basketball, our morals, we have, I can say college sports, our morals, we've thrown them to hell. We've thrown them out. Look at the NIL. Basically, it's come to, we're going to pay the most money to get the player to come to our school. Okay, yeah, that was going on before. But now it's just flat out, it's just sad now. Flat out embarrassing now. Kids will come to your school and then transfer after 1 year because they ain't getting enough time, they don't like the coach, etc. What has happened to the college sports that I love? Brendan Sorsby, you a nice player. You're not great, but you're a nice player. You're not worth this, son. You're just not. You're a nice player. You might make it to the NFL. Cool. You might be a, second, third round, fourth round, one of those type picks. Fine. College sports is going to hell. And the reason why they're going to hell, they don't have leadership. There should be someone, college football, college basketball, etc., that should be the leader. I don't know if it's Nick Saban. Could be Urban Meyer. Maybe that's not a good choice. So let's just start off with Nick Saban. Let's just end with Nick Saban. Nick Saban. What about my man that used to work at Washington? Peterson. Oh my God, he's on Fox now. I was about to call that man Carl Peterson. That's not his name. Oh my God. He was the coach at Washington. I can't think of his name now. But what about him? Chris Peterson. I'm sorry. He was at Boise State. Chris Peterson. Chris Peterson or Nick Saban could be the coach for college football. What about Mike Krzyzewski? What about Roy Williams in college basketball? College sports needs rules. They need regulations. Because if they don't enforce rules and regulations, this BS will always happen. Brendan Sorsby should not be eligible to play at Texas Tech. Brett Yormark, the Big 12 commissioner, should make sure he does not play. Make sure they sit his ass out. Brett Yormark, you say you got the best conference. I know that's BS, but let's just go along with the example. You say you got the best conference. You say you're up front and out front, and you're the best commissioner out here. Lead, sir. Being in a position of leadership means you have to lead. This is an example of when he should leave. Brendan Sorsby should not be allowed to play college football ever. He lost that right when he betted on college football at Indiana.
You good?
I'm good.
All right. So the reason why I understand why you're upset. I do. But the thing is, like, when are we going to stop treating the NCAA like they're serious when they're not? The NCAA has no power. The NCAA board is a joke. It's been a joke for a very long time. I've said that while I was still in college. I thought the NCAA was a joke. You know what? I remember going back to 2010, my freshman year, matter of fact. I remember when the NCAA had this rule.
Time out. If you don't mind, just set the story right, brother. The freshman year, what school was you at?
I was at Penn State University.
Gotcha.
UConn just came off a championship. Guy by the name of Shabazz Napier. Remember that guy?
I do remember him. Hell of a basketball player.
Yes, he was. And
I drafted by the Miami Heat because LeBron, Pat Riley thought if he drafted Shabazz, he would have kept LeBron. Long story short, he drafted Shabazz, LeBron, then we're going back to Cleveland. Go ahead.
I remember, Shabazz Napier and UConn won the championship, and one of the things that Shabazz Napier said was that, we're kind of hungry. All we really have is like peanut butter and jelly sandwiches and all that stuff. So because we have a limit to how much food we can have. So NCAA had made a rule for how much food we could have. But then when Shabazz Napier said that and basically put them on blast, they're like, oh, you guys can have unlimited food now. Josh, there was a rule where we literally could have bagels, but we weren't allowed to have cream cheese. And my brother, I am not lying to you right now. There was a legit rule that said, in the locker room, we can have free bagels. We cannot have free cream cheese. This is the NCAA board making up rules just to make them. There's nothing behind it. I promise you that was a real thing. But when Shabazz Napier said that, it's like, oh, you can have free cream cheese now. Like, cool. Why the hell are you here? Like, ever since then, I was like, what the hell are you doing here? Really? Are you just some guys they gotta have an NCAA board, so you just pick some guys like, the NCAA president picks some of his golf buddies, like, hey, I need you guys to be on the board, for the NCAA, just kind of keep an eye on things, oversee some things. Yeah, do that for me. That's all it was. So Ever since then, they've been a joke to me. This is the latest example of how you have no power. You have no say in anything. Athletes laugh at you. Johnny Manziel laughed at you when you tried to suspend this man. Let's fast forward. Johnny Manziel is another guy who quite literally, if you watch the documentary, he literally craps on the NCAA, laughing at them.
Yes,
it's like, hey, we caught you signing memorabilia with your name, with your number on the jersey. We're going to suspend you for the first half of a game. I'm like, wow, that's really throwing the iron fist down. Johnny Manziel literally said like 30 minutes later, he went back to signing jerseys.
In the first half, and let me say, that game that he suspended, it was against Rice. Not Alabama. Not I know Texas wasn't in the SEC at the time, but Texas, Oklahoma. No, not them. Rice.
This is the NCAA. And Johnny Manziel, if you watch the Untold documentary, Johnny Manziel said half an hour after he got that call, he went right back to signing jerseys. This is how little respect these players have for this NCAA board, whoever the hell these guys are. You guys suck. You sucked for a long time. You suck now. This is the latest example of how you have no power.
None.
Players, Trinidad Chambliss just went to a judge to get himself another year of playing college football. And you had you could do nothing about it.
Nothing.
And now we have Brendan Sorsby, a man who bet on college football. And when we talk about guys betting on their own team, and everything like that, we think about Pete Rose, Major League Baseball, and how he's been banned from the Hall of Fame, all that stuff, for betting on baseball and stuff like that. Basically, Sorsby said that they're using that, hey, he has a gambling problem. He needs help. He needs, to go to rehab, but don't take football away from him. That's going to cause him to be suicidal. And look, I'm not making a joke about stuff like that because that's real, okay? But in this situation, come on, man.
It's a joke. In this particular situation, it's a joke.
I promise you that Sorsby and his legal team are probably laughing their asses off right now at the NCAA, that they literally sat on their ass and could do nothing about it. The judge, who I hear is a big Texas Tech guy.
Oh, yeah, for real? Really?
Shocking.
So shocking. I'm just so shocked.
So it's like, hey, the starting quarterback needs a hand. Oh, hell, I got him.
I got him.
This is Texas. You really think they give a shit about gambling? They don't care about this. The judge probably saw this and was like, "Can we get this over with so I can go back to playing golf? Can we get this over with so I can go back to?"
Y'all me come in here. I got 18 holes of golf to play. Y'all make me come in here and do this, man.
They don't care nothing about this. So it's the latest example. And you're right, Josh. There's no way. And this injunction can still be appealed. Let's keep that in mind. This injunction can still be appealed, so they can still hold him out. But the best you can do is suspend him for games against Abilene Christian, and who was the second game?
Oregon State.
And Oregon State. That's the best you can do. Let me not forget this. Jim Harbaugh. Harbaugh in football. How can I forget these guys? Yeah. The way that Jim Harbaugh finessed the hell out of the NCAA, knowing that he did things illegal, knowing that, literally said, "Okay, you guys want to bring the suspension? I'm just going to the NFL and slide to the Chargers," and nothing happened. Nothing happened to Jim Harbaugh.
Well, Jim can't coach in college football, but to be fair, he doesn't.
Yeah, Jim Harbaugh can't coach in college football again, but it's like, okay, cool. I won a national championship.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly why I put this up. I got the ring. I'm good. I ain't never got coaching.
Ohio State, and now I'm going to the NFL to coach Justin Herbert. Yeah, now Sharon Moore and that staff ended up catching a little bit of heat from that aftermath. Okay, cool, but even that suspension was like not much. Let's be honest.
Sharon Moore caught some heat for some stuff he was doing. They had nothing to do with Jim Harbaugh.
Yeah, it was. He was on his own. I don't know. That's a whole another episode. But my point is, this is the latest example of how the NCAA board has no power, and quite frankly, they're just a waste of time and space. So we need to stop acting like college sports is still college sports. It's not amateur sports anymore. It's the pros. It's the pros before the pros. And you know what the pros have? They have a commissioner who enforces the rules. They have an actual board who actually does their job and does something about it. There's a line of communication and actual leadership with the pro sports. They have a commissioner. They have a salary. They have a salary cap. They have contracts where you can't just bounce from school to school to school to school 5 years in a row. Oh, this school sucks. Let me go here. Oh, I'm not playing. I don't like it here. Let me transfer again. 5 schools in 5 years is what we're seeing now in all sports, because there's no leadership. There's no real structure. NIL did exactly what it was supposed to do. What most people thought would happen ended up happening. Total chaos. And you know why? Don't blame the college athletes. Don't blame NIL and the college athletes for how this has gone on. Stop blaming them. College athletes were supposed to get paid decades ago, generations ago. So do not blame the college athletes. Blame the same culprit that is responsible for all the stuff that I just mentioned, including this latest one with Brendan Sorsby, the NCAA board. You spineless waste of space board once again dropped the ball. And this is the latest example of why people will laugh at you and we don't take you serious. What's yours?
I can't disagree with you. The NCAA is a joke. However, what I will say is I get it that it's semi-pro, because that's essentially what this is. It's semi-pro. I got you.
Yeah.
However, you can still have that college. Like 10 years ago, we both, not saying we don't like Alabama now, but we both are Alabama fans. Your thoughts of Alabama hasn't changed. I mean, it might have changed because they don't have Nick Saban no more, but for the most part, you still like the school Alabama. My point is that with college football or college sports, the NFL professional sports have a union. College sports don't have that because all of them can't get on the same page. I'm put it to you like this: Arch Manning's road to the NFL is different than I'm trying to think of somebody else. Just name somebody who's playing college football this year.
Bryce Underwood, quarterback.
Bryce Underwood. Like it's going to be different. It's different. Bryce Underwood can outperform Arch Manning this season. Arch Manning probably will get drafted higher than Bryce Underwood. So for me, the NCAA, man, we just need leadership. If you had someone just in place, like you have a president, Charlie Baker, what the hell is he doing? Charlie Baker ain't doing nothing?
Nothing.
Yeah, then bro, give your salary to people that could use it, i.e. like me or JG or Ross. Like you're just stealing money at this point. You're not doing anything. And the problem is that, okay, so the president of the NCAA is not going to do nothing. Brett Yormark, you have to do something, sir. You're the only person that can stop this. Got another fact for you about this. A Texas court scheduled Texas Tech quarterback Brendan Sorsby trial against the NCAA for February 8, 2027. 2 weeks after the college football national championship game has been played. Man, come on, bro. I can't walk down the street without being harassed. Y'all moving heaven and earth for this man to play this season. Hey, Brendan Sorsby, you better be good. You better be worth the damn squeeze and the damn juice. Let me read that again. A Texas court scheduled his trial against the NCAA 2 weeks after the national championship. Bro,
he's going to be at the combine by then. He's not going to be
man. He's going to get ready for the NFL draft. Are you serious, NCAA? Are you serious?
Hey, bravo, NCAA. That's really sticking it to him. Bravo, guys. You're stepping really stepping up.
This was a Texas court. This was a Texas court sticking it to the NCAA because, like you said, brother, no one respects the NCAA because you're a joke. Now you can be a joke and still. Well, this might sound oxymoron. You can be laughed at and still be a leader. It's just sad that the NCAA, fuck having a backbone, they don't even have a heart. Like I don't even know how they standing. They fucking John Q. They just standing up like nothing, like just standing there, no heart, no limbs, no nothing. What the hell? Like, come on, man. NCAA should be ashamed of themselves. All the great players who played college basketball in 67, the great Ernie Grant, the great Lynn Byers, the great Johnny Dawkins, the great Grant Hill in the night. How much money you think Christian Laettner would have made that dude? Come on, man. Like, Lord have mercy. Stop. Like, what are we doing here? NCAA is a joke. Brett Yormark, Big 12 commissioner, I need you to do something about this, sir. You're the only one that can do something. If Brett Yormark allows this, then people going to look at your league a little funny. You're not he was never the best league anyway. He might be the best league in college basketball, but he's not the best league in college football, for sure. Brett Yormark, I'm looking at you, man. You got to do something about this. Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Highly Opinionated. We will be right back. Ladies and gentlemen, this episode of Highly Opinionated is sponsored by Wolves of War. In some of the episodes, you can see my co-host and Ross wearing a brand called Wolves of War. Wolves of War is our first sponsor, ladies and gentlemen, and we are so thankful to have those guys sponsoring Highly Opinionated. Thank you very much. The actual meaning of Wolves of War is that it represents having a strong path behind you through the battles of life. With the right people behind you, you can get through anything. You guys see the link for Wolves of War? Make sure you guys click on the link, shop, great apparels, t-shirts, sweatsuits, whatever you want. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Highly Opinionated. As you can see, we have a special guest. Ladies and gentlemen, this brother needs no introduction, but I'm tasked to do it anyway. Ladies and gentlemen, this gentleman is a reporter for WRIC ABC 8 News in Richmond, Virginia. Ladies and gentlemen, let's have a warm, highly opinionated welcome to the great Jamal Williams. Welcome to the show, brother. How you doing, my guy?
Thank you so much, man. I appreciate it. Glad to be here. Glad that you reached out, and yeah, I'm happy to be here. Thank you, man.
Absolutely, man. I had to reach out. You showed the show love. We wanted to show you the love that you showed us back. So,
absolutely.
As I do with every guest, Jamal Williams.
Yes.
Who is Jamal Williams?
It's a good question. Well, first off, I'm a fiance, I'm a son, I'm a brother, I'm a friend, and honestly, just somebody that, just wants to continue to give to others as much as they're giving to me.
I like that. You obviously live in Richmond, Virginia now.
Yep.
Originally from the great state of Maryland, Silver Spring to be exact. Talk about your time growing up in Maryland and talk about how that has talk about how that has helped you to navigate you to the point that you are right now.
Oh, no, you had it right. Elevator. Shout out to the DMV, man. Montgomery County is where I'm from. Honestly, great times, man. Just growing up there. I wasn't necessarily a kid that always went out or anything like that, for real. Mostly quiet kid growing up for the most part, but had friends. It was good just growing up there, being in Maryland, downtown Silver Spring, sometimes being in, DC, Northern Virginia as well, too. Honestly, because whenever you're like in a certain space or a certain area that you grow up in, it's within your own bubble. Even in a place like DC, which is like a top 10 big market in all of America. So like even then there was things that like when I was in there, I thought that was how the world always looked at until I moved out of it and saw how other people lived or how other people have different perspectives than me. But honestly, I was blessed and fortunate to grow up in the environment and the situations that I was in as well, too, just being able to see certain diasporas and different races and people like that all being together, and then just kind of shape my view of the world and learning other things. So no complaints from being at home. Love it there. Try to go back every time I can. That I-95 traffic is painful, but other than that, yeah, it's good to always go home.
I'm glad you know. That's why this interview started.
It
was a little delayed. So I appreciate that. Absolutely. Yep. That I-95 traffic is a mug. Absolutely.
It's no joke, man.
Not at all. You talk about your time here in Maryland, time in Silver Springs, that DMV area. You had to come a little bit up north to get one of your college degrees. You came up to Stevenson University, right there in Owings Mills, Maryland.
Yep.
2015 graduated.
Yep.
First of all, let me say congratulations to you on that.
Talk
about your time at Stevenson. Talk about interactions you made and the career connections you made at Stevenson University.
So that was the first time when I was like, okay, now not so much the majority anymore. Kind of seeing that it was a predominantly white school, Division III. It used to be Villa Julie, which was all girls, and then like I guess years ago before I was there, that's when it integrated to being a boys and a girls university as well. But that was my first taste of just learning what, even if it was only like 45 minutes away from where I lived, it was like, my first taste of like, okay, this is how other people are from different backgrounds, different counties in Maryland. Some people coming from Jersey, some people coming from New York, different areas around, the nation as well too, coming to school, and just seeing how people interact as well too. Made some great friends, people that I still talk to this day as well. It was good just to being able to use it to be able to find my voice and find myself and like learn so much about myself and kind of break out of my shell. So yeah, forever grateful for what Stevenson did for me and taught me.
I think, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, I think by you being in that DC, Maryland, like that lower, it's not Southern Maryland, but I say like south of me. So in that DMV area, that DC, Maryland, Virginia area, where everything is not close, but it's in, within shouting distance of each other, especially Maryland, Virginia. I actually think coming up north helped you out because you saw the difference of how people were. Like, for example, you might have been all black where you were. You realize, like, yeah, this ain't America. So I feel like when I went to Calvert Hall, I was coming from an all black environment, or mostly African American environment. I went to Calvert Hall. Oh no, I'm the minority. Like sometimes I'm in a classroom in high school. The only thing black in the classroom is the eraser board. They don't even use black markers. They use the black eraser board to erase the marker off the whiteboard. So my point is that environment helps people. We always say that people are a product of their environment. That's why we need to see That's why we need to see a plethora of environments to learn different cultures, to learn different things, to make us better people.
Absolutely, and then also because it was close to Baltimore as well too. And shout out to the mayor Brandon Scott and also Governor Wes Moore, because for a long time, if you're not from Baltimore, if you haven't been to Baltimore a lot, it can sometimes get a bad rap. But I've always loved Baltimore. I have nothing but good things to say about Baltimore. I love it. Obviously, there's certain parts that maybe you shouldn't be around at certain times or whatever, but that's with any city or any major city that you see as well too. But the fact that they've done such a good job to decrease those, violent interactions, crime that's been going down 40%, like salute to them. And honestly, like for me, Baltimore is always a place that, like, for me, like I love going to and I love being to, still like going to this day. So that was another part of it. A lot of my friends that came to Stevenson were from Baltimore as well too, that were there as well too. So shout out to them.
Absolutely, shout out to them. Another congratulations are in order to you. You graduated with your master's of Philip Marcel journalism at the University of Maryland. Talk about that experience.
That's almost a long kind of answer, and I'm sure you'll probably ask me after that, so I'll stop at a certain point. But how that came about was, so I did an internship at Stevenson University with WBAL TV, with if I believe it was right, it was with radio and then sports. So I did both of those. Like, those are my internships. That's when I really realized that journalism was something that I wanted to do. But at the time, I didn't really keep up with the contacts that I had made from journalism and things like that. So I was just, when I went back from school, I worked at Giant. Once I went to Giant, I moved to Bank of America. Then after Bank of America, I had an opportunity to work at Merrill Lynch. But I didn't pass this Series 63 test that you need to get licensing to, do stocks, bonds, mutual funds and stuff like that. So I actually got fired from that job, was unemployed for 6 months, moved back in with my mom. And then after a couple months there, I was like, let me go back to school and actually try to get my journalism degree to help me finally go all in and go and do this thing that I want to do. So then I applied, did my letter, basically told them why I wanted to go back, and they saw something in me. And then I was there, went to Philip Merrill, and I did it for about 4 semesters, and I graduated in 2020, when the height of COVID happened and everything like that.
Absolutely. With the height of COVID, obviously, I know the answer to this. Obviously, affected your job, how you apply for jobs. But as a reporter, like, describe COVID to me and the audience. What I mean by that is, like, it's one thing, like, we get to see, like, for example, athletes, like, they got to wear the face mask, they got to do this 6 feet, stuff like that. Describe it for a reporter in that time, but describe it for someone in that time that was getting a college degree. Like, how was COVID at that time when it was first hit everybody at the University of Maryland?
So the funny thing is, man, when we had COVID, we were reporting on it at my internship that I had with College Park, because we had like this our own channel. I think it was called Capital News as well too, where we actually had to go out and get real stories. And one of the things we kept reporting on was COVID, but at the time it was just kind of like, oh, people are just getting sick. And then it got to a point where it actually shut us down and shut the campus down, and nobody was allowed anymore, which is why we had to graduate virtually online. And throughout that time, I still wasn't getting jobs from there at all. Like, I was doing like internships, but they weren't paid. I actually worked with this women's football team in DC. I knew the owner. I got in contact with the owner there, and he kind of gave me one of his cameras to use to kind of film the team, do my own stories with him, do stories with other things. And that's just how I kept building myself up, building my resume while I was still with my mom. Meanwhile, I was still, you had bills to pay, like, because COVID happened. I mean, like, you still don't have stuff to pay off. So I was working doing Amazon Flex at the time, which is basically just like getting packages at different warehouses, whether it be Baltimore, Montgomery County, Maryland, stuff like that, and delivering to people's houses, just trying to make some extra money to pay off my bills while I was with my mom's house. So my job didn't come around, or at least a job that was really good or like helped me to pay until like maybe later that year or in 2021.
Gotcha. Speaking of that, your first job was a reporter for Laurel TV, Laurel, Maryland.
Yep.
2021. While working at Laurel, congratulations in advance again. You won 2 Telly awards. Describe working at Laurel TV and describe, I'm assuming, winning your first 2 awards as a reporter. Describe that feeling, man, because there's nothing like winning.
It definitely is, man. So ironically, when I was at Maryland, they would have this internship coordinator. Her name is Adrian Flynn, and she would post different internships that you would get throughout the time. Like, hey, just like putting out there, like, hey, this person's looking for this person for internship, that person's looking for that person. So when I graduated, I still kind of kept up with the emails that they were sending. And Laurel TV was another one that came up that was close to me. And I asked her, I was like, hey, do you think I can apply for this? She was like, sure. So when I applied, I took the camera that I got from the person that I was working with that had the female football team. And I just kind of made my own mini reel of things that I was doing, put that together, sent it in as a resume to them. And that's where I met my mentor, Joyce Jackson. And she was the one that really taught me all about the business. Her teaching style was almost like a coach, because she had worked at CBS in DC. She was a former sports reporter herself, broke breaking news, had contacts, stuff like that. She was great at what she did. And whenever I was doing well, she would give me real good encouragement and things like that. But when I was messing up or when I needed some talking to, she'd be like, close that door, come in my office, and lay into me if she needed to lay into me. Nothing personal, nothing like that. But you know, people that you care about, sometimes it's just tough criticism that you need to take. So she, for about a year and a half, just gave me the real of what it is to be a journalist. Regardless of the fact that we weren't a commercial station, she still made us go out there and get stories. We still had to pitch story ideas. We still had to do our packages together, maybe not in a timely manner the way they do now in news, like one day or in a couple of hours. But it's from her that I learned how to do things like a stand-up, or learn how to get footage, or learn how to cover breaking news, or learn how to actually write better. There would be times when she'd be like, nope, that's not good, write it again. Or nope, it's still not good, write it again. Nope, write it again. There were so many times I got frustrated, or so many times like I was like, am I even good enough? But she was trying to teach me a lesson. And she also poured encouragement and, confidence into me as well too while doing this. So it was always something, and honestly, something I still am grateful for. I go back to her whenever she needs help as well too, covering certain events as well.
I ain't gonna lie, she kicked you in the ass at times, but she patted you on the back as well.
Absolutely.
We all need that. And I love the story of that. I'm mainly talking to the younger generation. When someone criticizes you, they are not hating. It is not hate.
Mm-hmm.
It is not they don't want you to win. It is not that they're jealous of you. No disrespect, they're older than you. What do they have to be jealous of? They've already lived the life that you're trying to live in a way. You said it best.
Yeah, and I feel like for her, and sometimes you can learn from the younger generation as well too. For me personally, I'm not too big in myself to not learn, because like I have a lot of coworkers here that are younger than me that may not necessarily have a lot of life experience like I do, but I learn from them even every day how to be a better reporter as well too. And there's some people that have had more life experience than me as well too. Just because you're younger, they've probably been through things as well, good and bad, that I can also learn from as well too. So it goes both ways as well too. But yeah, respect for everybody when it comes to that.
Absolutely. Describe winning the 2 Telly awards.
It was amazing. I actually didn't know what a Telly award was until she had told me, and that like big companies, big, national TV, people actually go for these, like Al Jazeera or CBS, or like even people that I admired as well too, like Shams Charania, who covers breaking news for the NBA. I saw, like, I don't know if sometimes if you see the background of his setup, sometimes I actually saw 2 Telly awards when he was there as well too. So I'm like, oh shoot, okay, like he has this. So I got it for this one story that I did about this young woman who was following in her father's footsteps that wanted to be a boxer. And they called her Baby Top. And I covered that one. And I think the other one was for, if I'm not mistaken, a girl named Maze Wimbush, who is a professional. I don't want to say professional, but she is a cyclist. but I think she's working her way up to be a cyclist, and I'm still in contact with her father and everything like that. So, yeah, it's been a good ride with that.
Absolutely. Once again, congratulations on the 2 Telly Awards, my brother.
Thank you, man.
Earned, well deserved. So when you have success, inevitably that requires movement. That requires mobility. You feel me? I listened to, you mentioned Sham Sharanya. A guy that I listen to occasionally is Colin Cowherd. He said, one of my favorite things that he says is, I love player mobility. Shoot, I lived in Connecticut, now I live in California. So you winning those 2 Telly Awards, obviously the stories that you were doing, the reporting that you were doing made you a hot commodity. In December of 2022, you moved to Champaign, Illinois. Other than needing a bigger winter coat and hat and gloves, what describe what it was like living in Illinois?
It was definitely a culture shock. I'll say that, man. Never moved that far away from home. It was me and my fiance. We moved in together, and it was just like one of those things where, like, yeah, we're in this, and we got to do this. We didn't know anybody, didn't know what we were getting ourselves into, but it was my first opportunity that I had to take to try to get my foot in the door of the business, and she came along with me to also help out and also pursue her career as well too. So when we went there, it was there were certain pockets of it where it was like, okay, you understand, but in other places where it's like people are different in the terms of like some people are more conservative, but it doesn't necessarily mean that everybody is a bad person or anything like that. It's just, everybody, like I said about DC and being in my own bubble, how I thought I had seen people when I was in Stevenson. It was even broader when I went to Champaign, Illinois, yeah, especially like they bleed orange and blue over there. The U of I, they have so much fighting Illini. Yep. They love that team over there, from their football team to the basketball team. They always support alumni. They come far and wide to see them over there. So just honestly being able to report in a place like that and that I didn't know, and honestly gave me a somewhat, at first I was nervous, but honestly it was kind of a good thing because I didn't know it. It gave me the task of having to learn more about a place that I'd never been before, the different counties, the different, municipalities, different city councils and stuff like that, learning how to say and pronounce different names of certain areas and places like that. So going into a place that I'd never been before, also making new friends as well. It was definitely a culture shock, but at the same time, there were certain semblance of it and places about it that, like, there are certain people that reminded me of back home as well too, and carried that with me. But then also just staying true to just know that, you didn't come here for no reason. Keeping my head up and then, just pushing forward.
While in Illinois, you worked for WCI CBS 3. That's the CBS affiliate in Illinois, Champaign, Illinois, for 1 year. You probably, out of all the guests I've ever had, you probably had the most, I wouldn't say unique story, but what I mean, I'll say unique as far as this. You work for a CBS affiliate, and now you work for an ABC affiliate. So just describe the differences of working at WCI 3 and now when you work at WRIC.
Yeah. So with WCIA, it was a lot of times with the newsrooms, they're similar but different. And what I mean by that is that the bread and butter of news is kind of the same thing, where it's like you have a pitch meeting where you're pitching your stories, you go out, get your stories, you shoot, edit, write, you go live. But in each newsroom, it might be different on how they kind of go about doing that. So with WCIA, it was different from this fact that, like, when I was there, like when we didn't have pitches or things of that nature, sometimes you could say, I don't have a pitch for today, and it'd be like, oh, okay. And they just assign you to what it is that you have and what you want. When I came here to WRIC, it's not that you can't say you don't have a pitch, but when you look at all these reporters here, and all these reporters are good, you don't want to be the only one person that says, like, I don't have nothing to pitch or I don't have anything to do, because it kind of makes you look like, yeah, I wasn't on my game today or whatever. It kind of makes you want to step up and also do well. Not to say I didn't when I was over there, because I learned so much from WCIA. It gave me my first opportunity, and I'm forever grateful for what they did. But it just made me level up even more when I had to go to WRIC and learn how to do that and be an even better reporter as well too here.
If you could give 3 tips to a young reporter, a young up-and-coming reporter, someone who is a baby, someone who is in middle school, someone that is in high school that wants to follow the path of journalism, what would be the 3 tips on what do you think that would make a good journalist?
First thing is time management. And news time is always something that you think like working at a job where maybe it's like a 9 to 5 where you're like, you feel like the day is dragging. And sometimes it can drag sometimes, especially if there's no news. But typically when you're busy in news, time is going by fast. So you have to know how to manage your time, pretty much knowing how much time it might take you to get an interview, how much time it is to work on your script, how much time it takes you to edit. And then you have to go live, because at the end of the day, when it's time to air, it's time to put on something on air as well too. And they can't wait for you. If you don't have a story, then got to move on. You got to keep going, because it's a 24/7 news cycle. 2 would be knowing how to pivot, or knowing how to, switch up when something's not necessarily going your way, or even if it is, knowing how to add to it. And what I mean by that is whenever there's something going on, or if something's not going your way, knowing that, hey, like being able to communicate with your team and be like, hey, this is not working out, but such and such is happening here, or trying to find something else somewhere going on, or like when breaking news happens, knowing how to be on the flip of a dime sometimes and going out and covering it and being live and being ready for whatever is going on as well too. So knowing how to pivot and basically knowing how to change directions when something's not going your way is a big help as well too. And then the last thing I would just say is have a good work ethic, knowing how to, for me personally, the one thing that I can say with the utmost confidence is that I will not let nobody outwork me when it comes to trying to do what I need to do, or trying to get a story, when it comes to trying to look under every nook and cranny when it comes to trying to get a sound or getting an interview, or at least trying my best to do that, or trying to get more information for something, or being like, hey, I might not have it now, but I'm working on it to get more of it, and just working hard about it. So if you have a good work ethic, I think that's another thing as well. And also, this is a fourth one, I'll just add this one, is just knowing how to communicate. Always communicate, always be forthcoming, always communicate what's going on, and be very transparent in what's going on and what you're going and the information that you're given. Because if you're very, I guess, discreet or whatever the case may be, then that's going to translate, and your team's not going to know what's going on. And when you're trying to present that on air, then the viewers and the audience is not going to know what you're talking about as well. So I would say knowing time management, knowing how to pivot, have a good work ethic, and then just a fourth one to add, knowing how to communicate.
Well, sir, you have all 4 of those things. It is no reason why you are. It is no surprise. It is no shock why you are at WRIC in Richmond. Congratulations on all your success, man. Extremely proud of you. Thank you for giving those 4 things. I actually wrote them down: time management, pivot, work ethic, communication. And if I could add a 5th to it, if you don't mind, absolutely, I would say leadership. You are a leader. Tell that just by conversating. Obviously, we talk off air, but talking on air, leader. And also, I want to give another shout out to your, if you don't mind, I'll call her your mentee, Miss Joyce Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we all need that. Like I said earlier, man, we need that kick in the ass. That yeah, nah, I got you. Like, nah, don't. If you want to give up, nah, I'm pushing you forward. I'm making you. I believe in you, even when you don't believe in yourself. I believe in you. So, time management, pivot, work ethic, communication, and leadership. You have all 5 of those qualities, man. I look forward to seeing you elevate from Richmond to a national level, because you going national. No doubt about it, brother. So I'm gonna say this: your wife will be the first one. Since I'll let her take her credit. Your fiance will be the first one. I'll be second on that credit list. When you get where you need to go, brother, it's always a spot for you here on this show, man.
Thank you so much, man. And honestly, congrats to all your success. Thank you for reaching out to me. Thank you for your platform, and thank you for the things that you're doing, highlighting guests as well too, and just giving a positive light and giving people a platform to be able to share their stories like you let me share mine. So thank you so much, Josh. Thank you so much for helping me out, and I can tell you're going to do great things as well too. Please, whenever you do, don't be a stranger.
Oh, I'm not.
Hit me up, yeah.
Oh, brother, I'm gonna be like Kobe to Michael, the MJ. I might be texting, hey, your Miss Fiance, I'm sorry. You get a text late at night, that's me. Okay, ain't no smoke. I just wanna, hey, bro, I need you to check this out. What could I do better? That's my mentality. I always
and we learn from each other, man.
Absolutely. Before I get you out of here, I'll hit you with a sports question.
Of course, yeah.
We are currently with the NBA Finals. The New York Knicks are up 2-1. Game 4 is Wednesday night. Who do you like in Game 4, and who do you think will win the series?
If you would have told me this, asked me this question early game 3, I would have said the Knicks right now.
Mm.
Game 4, it depends, man, because I don't want to say the series has shifted, but it's definitely not over. Even if the Spurs lose tonight,
Yeah, I don't think it's
I
over.
think if you make me choose, I'm gonna say the Knicks get this one. They go back 3-1, but I don't think it's over for the Spurs. I think they've found something in this with them basically, especially trying to make Jalen Brunson more of a shooter and shooting at a high volume range, because when he does that, that kind of takes possessions away from his other teammates like Karl Anthony Towns. To me, he's the key to winning that series for them. When he's involved, when he's distributing, when he's playmaking, the Knicks are playing at a high level. But when he's not doing that so much, and when they're turning the ball over, then the Knicks lose as well too. And for Wemby, I think for him, it's also for them being physical. Stephon Castle being physical. Dylan Harper, to me, is their best sixth man of the year. I know Keldon Johnson won sixth man of the year, but I feel like Dylan Harper is the engine that makes that team go as well too. Stephon Castle, Champagne as well. But yeah, those guys are doing well, and De'Aaron Fox as well. But I'll say the Knicks get it right now. I'm going to stick to my original pick. I went with my head instead of my heart, so I'm going to say Spurs in 7. But if the Knicks win, I will not feel bad at all, because when the Knicks win, it's great for basketball.
Absolutely. I think Adam Silver and the NBA office they are in love with these NBA finals. You have a main market in the New York Knicks, and in my opinion, you have the up-and-coming player, number 1 of your programs, number 1 of your hearts, ladies and gentlemen. You know his name, Victor Wembanyama. Jamal, you weren't with us, obviously. I said that he has GOAT potential written all over him.
Absolutely.
I said this last year, people looked at me like I had 5 heads. Now they're looking at me like I got 1 head. It's funny how it worked. I said last year he was a top 5 player. Go look at his numbers last year. Go look at his numbers this year. They're the same numbers. Only thing that is different is the winning. And he's winning because you have better talent. For example, sir, you made Highly Opinionated better. You feel me? By your presence, by your grace, as long as every other guest that we've had. You feel me? Like, if it was just me and Tim or me and JG up here, it'd be like, all right, it's just 2 guys talking. Like, what am I getting out of this? But the fact is, you hear our perspective and you hear whoever the guest is perspective. This week is you. So my point is of saying all that, like, the Knicks offense is better when everyone's involved. You have to have everyone involved. The Knicks need to get in the paint and spread out, and I think they could win game 4. Again, going back to the Spurs with Wemby, generational player. We understand what he represents. I think he could be in the greatest of all time conversation. He's that good. He just needs to develop. I agree with you on the strength. He needs to get a little bit stronger, but that'll come over time. We saw that with Giannis. Giannis was getting pushed around a little bit at the beginning, and then he got super strong, and now he's doing all the pushing. So I don't want Wemby to do that, because I like Giannis so damn strong he can't shoot. So I don't want Wemby to do that. Yeah. But gain a little bit of muscle, gain a little bit of weight, and I think everything will be great from the Spurs.
Absolutely, and he's already blocking shots. He already won Defensive Player of the Year. Imagine how many he can win at this rate in his career. So this is only the bar for him is right here. He's going to go up here eventually with everything that he's doing. So we're getting a taste of what he can do. Especially this is his first playoff run, and it's to the finals. We've only seen this out of a couple of guys in their first couple of years, and that was Tim Duncan. That was Magic Johnson, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar as well.
And Kareem, I think Kareem had Oscar.
Yes.
So he had another great play. I'm not taking away from Stephon Castle, Dylan Harper, and De'Aaron. They're not Oscar Robinson. Magic Johnson had Kareem.
Yep.
He came in the league with Kareem. Like, bro, what? Like, come on, man. Like, so I'm not taking nothing away from them. They Hall of Fame, great play. I get that. Wemby ain't got that. There ain't no Magic on this team. Ain't no the Kareem on this team is him. Like, that's the Kareem.
Oh, yeah. And then even in his third year, Dwayne Wade, he had Shaq. But in his third year, he was putting up crazy 35.
Yeah, that average.
You know what I'm saying?
One of the best finals performances ever that most people talk about. We talk about Steph, LeBron, Jordan, Shaq, Kobe to an extent. That Dwayne Wade finals, if we look at it through totality, that might be the best NBA finals run. What I mean by from a game 1 to a game 6, only person I think that can compete with that was Jordan in '93. But Jordan in '93, he was just
93 was averaging 45.
Yeah, like that's a little different. So Mike, you're a little different. Maybe Wilt, maybe Kareem. I had to look at their numbers, but other than that, like put it like this: Dwayne Wade's best finals is better than Kobe's best finals. I don't think he's a better player, but Dwayne Wade's best finals is better than, in my opinion, LeBron's best finals. Like he single-handedly carried Miami. Like Shaq was averaging he was averaging like 13 to 16.
The second best player on that team was Antoine Walker, who averaged 13 points as well too. Shaq, not that he didn't help, but yeah, you could see that he was kind of on his last legs by then as well too. But yeah, definitely, yeah. Some of LeBron's performances are up there. Dwayne Wade's in there. Mike, obviously. Hakeem Olajuwon. Yeah, definitely.
Tim Duncan, etc.
Yeah. Tim Duncan. We could see Victor Wembanyama possibly doing the same thing as well.
Absolutely. Well, Jamal, it's been a privilege and an honor to have you on the show, my brother. Hopefully your pick is right. I'm a Spurs fan. Hopefully the Spurs win in 7. I changed my pick. That'll come later on in this episode. So the fans will see that. But brother, we appreciate you coming on the show, man. Glad to consider you a compadre in this game, man. Keep up the great work. Keep winning awards, man. And if any way we can help you here on Highly Opinionated, you know we got you, brother.
Thank you for having me, man. Really appreciate it. Like I said, I'm going to see you going up to the top of me as well. Wishing you the best on all your success and continued success, man.
Yes, sir. Let's make a deal. We'll see each other on ESPN in less than 20 years. I'm looking forward to it, brother. I'm looking forward to walking past you in the break room like, man, I know this, brother. How you doing, man? Look forward
Absolutely.
to it, man. The sky's the limit for you, brother. I'm looking forward to being a small part of that, man. Congratulations on all your success, and congratulations to you and your fiance.
Thank you so much, man, on all fronts. Appreciate it, man.
Absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the great Jamal Williams from WRIC ABC 8 News in Richmond, Virginia. You're watching Highly Opinionated. We're going to take a quick break. We will be right back. Ladies and gentlemen, this episode of Highly Opinionated is brought to you by WRIC. Enjoy the heightened experience of THC edibles in a whole new way. At WRIC, our freeze-dry edibles available in 100 milligram, 200 milligram, 300 milligram, 400 milligram will give you the buzz you crave with a flavor you won't forget. Available in 3 different flavors: watermelon sunset, tropical fruit, and berry. To place orders, please visit the website at WRIC.com. While you're there at WRIC.com, use a promotion code. You guys see the promotion code on the screen. $ Highly $. Again, $ Highly $. For 20% off your first purchase. Follow us on IG at WRIC for new product releases and monthly hookups. Must be 21 and over to purchase. WRIC, the best freeze-dry edibles out. Go shop. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to wrap up the show talking about the NBA Finals. JG currently, the NBA Finals stand at the New York Knicks have a 2-1 lead on the San Antonio Spurs. Game 4 will be Wednesday night, 8:30 on ABC. Pre-game coverage starts at 7 with NBA tip-off with Ernie Johnson, Kenny the Jet Smith, Charles Barkley, Shaquille O'Neal. And by the way, y'all, I ain't going to get credit for this. I told y'all Draymond was going to be there Game 3 and Game 4 in New York. He was there Game 3. He'll be there Game 4 Wednesday night. The game will be called by the great Mike Breen, Tim Legler, Richard Jefferson, and the amazing Lisa Salters. So, JG, your thoughts on the NBA Finals currently, where we stand, and where do you think the rest of the series will go from here?
I don't think anybody had the road team winning the first 3 games of this series. Damn sure didn't have New York going to San Antonio and running the table there for the first couple of games. But that just shows you like how good the New York Knicks really are. They played really good basketball. They've been the more disciplined team. They've been the calmer team, in my opinion, up until Game 3. Spurs answered in a do or die game because if they had lost Game 3, I believe they would not be going back to San Antonio for a Game 5. This would end in New York. But you know, I got a lot of thoughts on both sides. I guess I'll start with the Spurs here. I've hated the way they played in this finals, quite frankly, because I still think they're the better team. I think they've shown they're the better team, but they're doing a lot. It's funny, we talk about what the Vegas Golden Knights have done in the Stanley Cup, done everything they could to win the game, but then do what they can to lose the game. That's what I see from the San Antonio Spurs. Not taking credit away from Brunson and the Knicks. I think they've been tremendous, but I watch these games and it's like, I'm looking at the Spurs like, what are you doing? I mean, Stephon Castle, I'm a big Stephon Castle fan. I think he's going to be a really, really great player. He at times is just reckless. I mean, the turnovers are terrible. At times, really bad fouls, just away from the basket. Same thing with Keldon Johnson, Vassell at times. And then I understand the Spurs want to play fast, but one dribble, shoot the three, one pass, shoot the three, like with 6 seconds going in the shot clock, before Wembanyama even gets to cross half court. I hate that. It's not good offense, in my opinion. Now, I understand they want to play that way. If it goes in, hell, it goes in. But I don't like the percentages of it. And then to Wembanyama, he had a much better game 3. Was setting the tone from the beginning. He didn't wait. He didn't just take 4 shots in the first half, which I hated. He was aggressive. He was taking shots. He started inside, close to the basket, worked his way inside out, as opposed to standing out there, dribbling between his legs, trying to dribble between, small guards. The guards are just waiting for him to spin and put the ball on the floor and take it away. So the Spurs, although they played better in game 3, it's just they have to continue to, Wembanyama has to set the tone every game. And they got to figure out something when he's not on the floor, because Luke Cornett has quite literally given you nothing in this series, if I'm being honest. To the point where I'm like, why not play Mason Plumlee? Let's see what he can give you. Because I don't think Luke Cornett can give you much on defense. He shouldn't be guarding Karl-Anthony Towns. Karl-Anthony Towns is licking his chops whenever he sees Luke Cornett out there. I don't know if you're watching him. But then on the Knicks side, Brunson had his best scoring game of game 3, but you saw the result. He's had more turnovers and assists. Now, is Jalen Brunson a high assist guy? No, he's not. But when you have what was working for the Knicks, it was Karl-Anthony Towns running that offense. It was Karl-Anthony Towns being the playmaker, so to speak, in his offense versus Jalen Brunson, going off for 35, 40 points in the game. Karl-Anthony Towns got in foul trouble, didn't have a good game. Mikal Bridges was a no-show. The X Factor, who I thought was the X Factor going into this series, De'Aaron Fox, played better in game 3. He made a huge shot at the end. That's the guy I think who hasn't been himself. I'm shocked at what I've been seeing from De'Aaron Fox. I think he's a much better player than that. I know he's injured. I know he's dealing with an ankle injury, but at times it looks to me like Dylan Harper should be out there more than De'Aaron Fox at times, to play those minutes, because I just think Dylan Harper is the better option right now. But when De'Aaron Fox can give you something, this is what takes the Spurs over the top, in my opinion. Now, everyone was all high and mighty, saying, "Oh, the Knicks are going to sweep. Like, this is over." Like, it's only 2 games though, nothing, bro. I mean, I understand that it's 2 games, nothing after being in San Antonio, but it's still 2-0. All it takes 1 game to get that momentum back. And the Knicks, James Dolan, everyone wants to blame, a certain president, that was happened to be sitting in. And it's like, this is your fault. You ruined the energy. I'm like, don't blame him. Blame James Dolan. Because guess what jackass decided to invite him? It was James Dolan.
What jackass decided to invite James Dolan?
That was James Dolan. And you know what you did? You took away the watch parties. The thing that we love about sports is the diehard fans who were there for the garbage years and decades that the Knicks gave them. They were coming. Not only do you make it impossible to have those fans even come into Madison Square Garden, because you charge half a mortgage to go to one freaking basketball game, half a mortgage, first of all. But then you take away the watch parties because of security reasons, because the president is coming in. I get it from that standpoint, but you're telling me that fans who were just trying to watch the game from outside in the streets can't even do that because you decided you wanted to get fancy. And in my opinion, the basketball guys saw that. And you know what? Something told me that the Spurs are going to get this one because Knicks came out sloppy. The hype was a lot. And the thing was, the atmosphere wasn't even the same. People talking about Madison Square Garden was so electric and it was so loud. I'm like, I honestly felt like it could. I honestly felt like I've seen it louder. I've seen the vibes more immaculate in New York than I did in that game 3. It just looked really deflated. Yeah, the celebrities are there. Okay, cool, but all those what gave that aura in New York was the fans, going crazy from the outside. That extra energy, that aura, that energy you got from the outside, that wasn't there. Yeah, you got your watch parties out there in other parts of New York, but when it's not there at the Garden, something was different. And the Spurs came out aggressive. They played like a team more desperate, even though they still played sloppy at times. But I look at this game, and I know it's only 1 game, it's 2-1, but I just have it's funny. I'm using that word again. My gut feeling is saying that, hey, I feel like the Spurs might tie this up, and next thing you know, we have a real series here. Now, I said Spurs in 6. I never wavered from that. I'm not going to waver from that. I'm going to stick to what I have. But honestly, I still don't think that it's a foregone conclusion that the Knicks are going to win this series. I still think the Spurs have a legit chance to come back, and I think it starts tomorrow in Game 4 tomorrow. I think Game 4 will tell us what we need to know, because I don't see the Spurs coming back from a 3-1 deficit, but I can see them coming back from down 2-0 like they started.
Absolutely. And the Spurs should get credit. They were down 1-0 in the second round to Minnesota. Well, let's start. They were 1-1 first round against Portland. They lost Victor Wembanyama. They went to Portland, 1-2 straight. They lost the first game against Minnesota. They won the next two. Game 2 at home, Game 3 on Minnesota's court. They were down 2-1 to Oklahoma City. They won Game 4. They were down 3-2 after Game 5. They won Game 6 and Game 7. So they were 3-2, 3-3, and then won the series. The San Antonio Spurs, to me, however, this is the first time you're going to hear me use this. I used this the other day. The Spurs are showing their lack of experience. They're showing their age. And the reason why they're showing their age is it's a totality effort. Everyone is showing it. For example, Game 2, when Victor Wembanyama threw the ball at the end of the game, he threw the pass to Stephon Castle when his back was turned. Yes. I want to make sure I'm saying this, because people will make it seem like I'm giving him a pass. Not giving him a pass. That was a bad pass by Victor Wembanyama. I blame him mostly. But you know who I blame second most? The coach. Because the coach looked at Wemby and saw he was struggling. You called time out there. Let's go back to the Western Conference second round, Game 1. Go look at the end of the Minnesota-San Antonio game. The Spurs looked out of sorts. They looked out of whack. That's when your general comes in. Calm down. JG, calm down, bro. I'm here. I got you. Or Josh, calm down. Here, I got you. You feel me? Miss Johnson didn't do that. So it's a collaborative effort. As you mentioned, Stephon Castle. I love Stephon Castle. I think Stephon Castle and Dylan Harper will be the best backcourt in the NBA in the immediate future. Stephon Castle does some of the dumbest fouls I've ever seen in my life. Like, literally, will put your hand on the opponent's waist right there in front of the ref and then get mad at the ref. Bro, put your hands straight up. Not to be funny, Busta Rhymes came out with a song in the 90s called "Put Your Hands Where My Eyes Can See." Put your hands where my eyes can see, brother. Don't put your hands down here. I can't see your hands down there. You put your hands up, you can test the shot. You're fouling people in the corner. OG Anunoby got fouled in the corner. OG Anunoby wasn't going to make that shot. He having a great series, good player. He wasn't going to make that shot. So I agree with you on that. To me, that's about experience. Your experience shows, or lack of experience shows. As I always tell you, JG, your biggest flaw shows at the worst time. Let me say it again. Your biggest flaw shows at the worst time. The Spurs' biggest flaw, experience. Head coach doesn't have the experience. Their best players, other than De'Aaron Fox, they only played Harris. They didn't play Harrison Barnes in Game 3 of the NBA Finals. So take Harrison Barnes out. Only player in the rotation that has experience, playoff type experience, is De'Aaron Fox. So
and Luke Cornett.
Oh, I'm sorry, Luke Cornett. I forgot about him. Luke Cornett. So, they're learning. I think the Spurs vital to win Game 3. I think the Spurs will even up the series, tie it up 2-2, win Game 4, and then we'll have ourselves a best 2 out of 3 for the NBA Finals to see who will be the NBA champion. I want to talk about the New York Knicks for a second. Ladies and gentlemen, that's a guy that's shooting 37% from the field. And y'all tell me he's the best Knick ever. He's not. The Knicks can win the championship. He's not the best Knick ever. The best Knick ever is Patrick Ewing. The second best Knick ever is Walt Clyde Frazier. Now, if you want to say Clyde's the best or Patrick's, that's fine. Jalen Brunson is not the best Knick ever. He's not the second best Knick ever. Now, has he taken teams to further heights than Clyde Frazier won the championship. Ewing lost in the championship. Has he taken a team to further heights than Carmelo Anthony? Yes. If your life depended on it, you rather have Jalen Brunson than Carmelo Anthony? I wouldn't. I take Melo every day of the week, twice on Saturday, twice on Sunday. So Jalen Brunson is a good player. He's a very good player. Just because you win a championship does not mean you're a superstar. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I don't want to get uncomfortable. Take my glasses off. I get uncomfortable. Is Sam Donald a superstar? Oh, y'all like that, huh? Oh, y'all don't like that, huh? Exactly. Because he's not a superstar. Jalen Brunson's a good player. He's a good to a very good player. If you're trying to tell me Jalen Brunson's a superstar, I'm good, Brian. I ain't trying to buy them goods. I'm good. He's a very good player. Just like last year, Tyrese Halliburton was a very good player. Indiana got to the finals. Now, I'm not counting what Indiana didn't do this season because he was hurt. That's what I think of Jalen Brunson. Just because you win something does not mean you're the best. It does not mean that. Sam Darnold won the Super Bowl. He's not the best quarterback in the league.
I've been on record saying that Jalen Brunson would be the greatest nigga of all time if he was the one to bring a championship to New York, based on his pathway traveled, based on who he beat to get there, and based on the fact that he's not an athletic player. Like, he's not dunking on anybody. He needs angles. He needs, to be shifty. He has to be an efficient shooter. Point of the ball when he shoots has to be perfect. A lot of things have to go in the right direction for Jalen Brunson to score. But to his credit, he does it so well. He gets to his spots so well. He gets the shot off. I mean, the shot he made over, I believe it was Castle, but then Wembanyama is stretching out all the way as a secondary defender. The ball literally drops perfectly over him into the basket. That is pure skill. I mean, that's elite skill. So it's hard for me to say that Jalen Brunson isn't the superstar of this New York Knicks team, because I understand Karl-Anthony Towns has played great. If we ended the finals right now and the Knicks won, Karl-Anthony Towns would probably get the finals MVP, and I think rightfully so. But they don't get there without Jalen Brunson. I just really don't think so. So it's like, yeah, I hear you. You say very good player. All right, defensively, he's not great. I got you. But just the heart, him being to ingratiate himself with the New York Knicks franchise, being the undersized guy, the underdog ever since he got drafted, second-round pick. Dallas gave him a crappy deal. The team laughed at it, and New York signed him. He becomes this superstar in New York, in my opinion, and brings this team to places they haven't seen, since '99. In '99, did they get this close to the finals? No, the Spurs slapped them around. So, like, you're talking about 2 games away from a championship. If this guy were to win it based on who he took out, I mean, you can talk about Patrick Ewing. Now, again, it's a very broad subject. There's no way in hell I'm taking Jalen Brunson over Carmelo Anthony. There's no shot in hell I'm taking him over Patrick Ewing. As a player, no shot. But just for this franchise, for what a player means for that franchise, I just feel like if he wins a championship, that value skyrockets to, I believe, number 1. Now, you can make that argument. People who know Knicks history better than I do, you can go ahead and come at me and tear my argument down. Go for it. But I'm just going off of what I've seen, like, just in recent history, going back to, like, as long as I can. The great players that came through there. There were some great players who are much better than Jalen Brunson on both ends of the floor, of course. But at the end of the day, it's about did they win the chip? That's all New York. That's all Knicks fans care about. That's why they're going nuts in New York right now, just for getting to this point, because of everything that this Knicks team has done, and is led by that guy, Jalen Brunson.
Absolutely. And I give him credit for being the best guy, but giving him credit and being hyperbolical is crazy to me. He's a very good player. He is the leader of the team. He's the quote-unquote best player of the team. Why you gotta be a superstar? Like, that don't mean you're a superstar. You're a superstar compared to them, to your teammates. You're a superstar compared to the league. So, okay, Anthony Edwards, Luka, Wemby, Jokic, whoever else you want to put, Giannis, whoever else you want to put, Tatum, except, like, he's not better than none of them. So for me, I like to be honest. Not saying you're not, bro. I'm not saying that. But I like to be honest in my evaluation of watching play. Jalen Brunson is a very good player. He will never be a superstar. He can win 5. He's not a superstar. He's the best player on a team. That's great. Being a best player on a team does not make you a superstar. It just means
being the best player on a championship team, that doesn't qualify as superstar.
No.
Like Sam Darnold was the quarterback, but no way he was the best player on the championship team. This is different with Jalen Brunson. He is the best player on a championship caliber team.
I get that. He's the best player in aura. He's not been the best player this series. I don't even know if he's been the second best player on this team this series. If you combine OG and what's the other guy? I know Mikal Bridges had a bad game 3. But if you look at OG and Mikal Bridges, combined, they've been the second best player. With Jalen, this is what the Knicks do. The Spurs will go out to a big lead. They'll walk the Spurs down. They'll play team ball. They call it spray. The ball touch the paint, spread out, had the Spurs defense moving around. Okay, I got that. Then the team, so that's a team effort. That's not just him cooking. Not saying he has to cook, but I'm just saying that's a team effort. Karl-Anthony Towns plays good in the first half. The team plays good in the third quarter as collective as a team. And then homeboy bring us home in the fourth quarter. Okay, that's great. That doesn't make you a superstar to me. I need to see more. That's all. I'm not taking nothing away from Jalen Brunson. I think he's a phenomenal basketball player. I'm not Becky Hammond. I'm not saying he can't be your best player if you win a championship. He's 2 wins away from that. So if he does that, he deserves credit for that. But winning a championship and getting credit doesn't mean I have to be over the top. Being over the top to me is saying he's a superstar. He's not a superstar. In my opinion, he's not. Because at the end of the day, put it like this. Trade him for Anthony Evans. You think Minnesota make the second round? I don't. They lose to Denver in the first round. That's a superstar. And I've been on the record at times. Remember when we first started, I said Anthony Evans wasn't a superstar. You get what I'm saying? Anthony Evans is a superstar. Jokic is a superstar. We know what Wemby is, superstar. Cade Cunningham. Put Cade Cunningham on the Knicks and put Jalen Brunson on the Pistons. The Pistons still go homer. That's not a superstar,
you think Cade takes them to a championship?
I think the Knicks will be in the same position they are right now.
Okay.
I think they'd be in the NBA final. I don't know if they'd be up 2-1.
Wait. I didn't ask you that. I said, does Cade take the Knicks to a championship?
Maybe not this year because he's young, but eventually over time, yeah. I definitely could see him doing that.
Okay.
I could see him doing that because it's kind of hard just to parachute him onto the team without, seeing how they move and see how they operate. But yeah, I think Cade Cunningham could. I think Cade Cunningham is a future superstar. I need to see it. Let's see what happens next year. Let's say you get to the Eastern Conference Finals next year. Let's say you get to the NBA Finals next year. Okay, cool. I see the trajectory. I'm saying with Jalen Brunson, okay, fine. But the Knicks aren't winning solely because of Jalen Brunson. Carly Town was hooping. Mike Brown was coaching his ass off. OG Anunoby hooping. Mikal Bridges. Landry Shamet is hooping. Miles McBride. My man Jordan Clausen. My man came in the game 3, did some J.R. Smith stuff and made us like, bro, that they're having timely efforts from their best players. So, from their players on their roster. So, again, Jalen Brunson is a phenomenal basketball player. I just don't think he's a superstar. That's all. I'm not trying to shit on the man. I think he's a hell of a basketball player. Listen, it's levels to this, bro. You're a phenomenal basketball player. Bro, I'm good. Like, I was good. I was cool to good. Compare myself to you. Compare myself to the Words, the Tevins, the D. Lees, even Don Ye. I was cool to good. Like, yeah, I'm going to do my thing. But, yeah, when I know I need a bucket, I'm going to 25. I know I need a bucket, I'm going to 44. I know I need a bucket, I'm going to 14. I'm going to 11. So, like, shout out to Tev, shout out to Ike, shout out to JG, shout out to Word. Those are those players' numbers, 25, 44, 11, 14. So my point is that I know where I'm going to. I get it. And I just say, again, Jalen Brunson's a hell of a basketball player. Just not a superstar, that's all. I know you said that you still have the Spurs in 6. Stand with that prediction or getting off of it?
No, I'm staying pat.
So I want the Spurs to win 4 in a row. That would be great. But I think the Spurs will win in 7. Because I think it'd be hard. It's gonna be hard to win game 6 if they're in that position to win game 6 in New York. Because New York, let me tell you something. As you said, when you talked about the Knicks inviting President Trump, James Dolan inviting President Trump, he didn't send that invitation out for game 4 or game 6. So if game 6 is necessary. So I think game 4, we're gonna see that real New York crap. Not saying it wasn't live, because I disagree with you. I thought Madison Square Garden game 3 was electric. You could just feel it through the TV. Where the inside the NBA was there, like you could just see it, you could feel it. Okay, cool. I get my man. I'm not my man. I shouldn't say that. The president of the United States was in the building. Might have took some of the air and oxygen out the building. Fine. But once them boys started playing basketball on the court, the air and the oxygen rose back up. So James Dolan's not going. I'm not going to invite the president to the game of the state. But he's not going to make that. He's not going to do that same decision again. So I think we'll see the real Knicks fans in game 4. I think the Spurs find a way to win game 4. And I think we go back to San Antonio 2-2, Spurs in 7. Ladies and gentlemen, we hope you guys are enjoying, and will continuously enjoy the NBA Finals. Again, the NBA Finals, game 4, Wednesday night, 8:30 on ABC. Can't wait for game 4 of the NBA Finals. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you guys for watching episode 87 of the best sports show out. For the best editor, the best producer, the best guy here, Highly Opinionated Ross. We love you, bro. Keep winning. Ladies and gentlemen, the host, Club JG Podcast, obviously co-host here on Highly Opinionated. JG, what's up? What's new? What's on tap for Club JG this week?
Well, if you didn't know, we already had an episode featuring my dad, the man, the myth 11, Ernie Graham, and my former teammate in college, DeMonte Dodd. Just breaking down their predictions for the NBA Finals. Go check that out if you haven't already. My dad had the line of the month going into the finals. I mean, I couldn't believe he said it to this day. Like he said, He said that the Spurs have nuns, New York's got guns. I mean, that was the line of the month for me. So like, if you guys get a chance, go check it out. It's on YouTube/CubsJG. Go check it out, and we're gonna keep it moving with the NBA Finals.
Absolutely. Actually, here we go.
Guns. New York got guns. Okay.
Let me start that over.
New York got nuns. New York got guns.
Oh, they do? Man, I ain't gonna lie. That was the podcast line of the year. San Antonio got nuns. New York got guns. So yeah, they do. Hey, OG, Mr. EG. I know you got some friends up New York. Tell them put them guns away until we get them out of there on at the game 4. Tell your friends, tell them put their guns away now. We just trying to leave the city in peace, sir. That's all we're trying to do. Bro, keep doing great things. Your father's truly amazing. Shout out to Double D, your former teammate, man, doing great things. Salute and shout out to him. Ladies and gentlemen, make sure you follow, like, and subscribe to Club JG Podcast. I am Merely Josh. We will see you guys next week. We are out.